What's up, guys? Welcome back to All Games Mindset, and today we're going to talk about the lesson from the movie Unbreakable. It's from the year 2000, starring Bruce Willis, and we're going to go into that right now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to All Games Mindset. Here, we talk about diet, fitness, dating, health, all kinds of different topics. So we're going to go into the lessons from the movie Unbreakable, which is from the year 2000. The character's name is David Dunn, and it's about his life.
It's pretty much like pretty much the first act of a hero's journey in a sense.
See, before there was the movie Glass.
I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
Before there was Split.
Who are you?
There was Unbreakable.
Because it seems you are the only survivor of this train wreck.
So basically, this is about David Dunn, right? So David Dunn is he's just a security guy. He's an average guy living an average life with an average family, in an average town. And in the beginning of the film, he's just on an average train ride to wherever
he was going.
So he gets into this crazy train crash, and everything blows up. Everybody dies, or at least I'm pretty sure everybody dies except him. He's not injured at all. He is unbreakable. Why is this? Because he's secretly a superhero. He has superhero qualities. He's secretly like kind of indestructible.
Yeah.
And he's like super strong, but he doesn't know it. Like, many people do not know their full potential. But basically the main theme of this movie is realizing your full potential. David Dunn has no idea that he can do what he can do. Just like most of you watching right now. You all have certain talents. And we have certain talents. We have certain skills and abilities with our mind, with our strength, things we never knew we could do. And we actually can, but we don't believe that we can. So David Dunn is interesting because he is like obviously a larger-than-life kind of guy. He secretly has super strength. He doesn't get sick. He doesn't feel pain, stuff like that. As a result, he wanders through life aimless, purposeless. His wife doesn't want to really have anything to do with him. He kind of has an estranged relationship with her. His son looks up to him, but knows that there's something off. And he knows there's something off because a man who's not on his purpose and is not following his goals and dreams and just lives that boring life, he's going to have that same attitude as David Dunn. Sleepwalks through life, doesn't know what he's doing, kind of just goes with emotion, has that ordinary life, but he could do so much more.
Yeah, he understands and he knows that he's missing something, but he just doesn't know where that is and how to find it. He doesn't know what to do, and he knows that he's missing a purpose, but he just doesn't know where to look for it until, after the train crash and everything, and, he starts to figure it out himself with some help of Mr. Glass, of course, that, he has a purpose and he figures it out and goes through the majority of the movie, doing that specific purpose.
On the opposite side of David Dunn, we have Elijah Price, who's played by
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, back in the heyday. So his thing is that he's looking for, he secretly, spoilers for the movie, by the way, spoilers, please don't hate us. We have Elijah Price, who is secretly the villain at the end of the film, and what he's trying to do, and he has a problem in which he easily gets hurt, he bruises easily, he breaks easily, he can break bones very easily. When he came out of the womb,
it appears that your baby has sustained some fractures while inside your uterus. His arms and his legs are broken.
He was, basically, he already broke bones, when he came out of the womb. So, he's looking for someone that's the exact opposite of him, which he eventually finds in David Dunn, because as we learn at the end of the movie, he is responsible for the train accident that David Dunn just started to discover his true self in the first place. The thing about, the interesting characteristic about Elijah Price is that he believes in David Dunn, even though David Dunn doesn't believe in himself. And we're going to go, basically the thing is, I think I was telling this to my buddy Joe at the gym yesterday, actually. It's people do not realize, a lot of what they can do. And then sometimes you need, a friend. I mean, Elijah Price is, the villain of the film, but before that, he was basically a friend of David Dunn. Yeah. He was trying to help him find out what he could really do. And sometimes you need, a friend or someone to kind of push you past your limits to really see what you can do. When you're at the gym, let's say I'm at the gym, and I'm benching, and I'm just I can't do this last rep. The Mike's behind me, spotting me. He's like, yes, you can do that one more rep. And I'm like, all right, fine. Then he helps me do that extra rep. So sometimes you need that extra force to sort of give you that extra push. Even though you might always not have that push available, it is always good to have someone that is a true friend by your side that actually will help you and push you to beyond the limits that you have. And in this movie, Elijah Price is helping David Dunn realize that he actually does have that hidden strength that he never knew he had. David Dunn doesn't believe in himself, which is not good. But Elijah Price does believe in him, and he believes that there's something more than that meets the eye.
Exactly, and it works in his favor because it works in everybody's favor because David Dunn finds his purpose. He knows what to do, and he understands everything. Elijah Price finds pretty much his nemesis is what they would call it in the superhero terms. That he found the person that is his equal in that superhero realm.
In a comic, you know how you can tell who the arch villain's going to be? He's the exact opposite of the hero. And most times they're friends like you and me.
Another thing I want to point out is that in the movie, David Dunn, in high school, was a football player, and he played football. And then he met this girl, which later would be his wife.
Yeah. And
she did not like football. So what he did, even though he was completely unbreakable, even though he didn't really realize it, what he did was he faked an injury, an accident, in order to get out of football and be with her.
In college, I was in a car accident. Was it serious?
He couldn't play football anymore.
Because even though he liked playing football, he stopped playing for a girl. This is a very important life lesson that needs to be addressed. If you really love to do something, you should never give it up for a woman or a friend or a family. You need to do what you must.
Yeah, that's also the same lesson as in the Lesson of Superman 2 video that we did. I'll put it up in the cards here if you haven't checked out that video.
Give yourself ideas whether it was a good idea to even get it with his wife in the first place, because if she didn't want him to play football, he should have just dumped that girl and been with someone else. But that's besides the point. I guess that could be another lesson. Basically, David Dunn made the mistake of he stopped playing football to get with this girl who would be his wife. And he could have done a lot of things. He could have been a great football star, and he never would have even known it.
And technically, if you think about it, football was his purpose. He got rid of his own purpose due to being with this woman, and then he lived from then on to the point of Unbreakable, pretty much purposeless. He had no purpose. He didn't know. Something was missing. He didn't know what it was, and technically it was football, but underneath it was pretty much his power. It was his inner strength because he was unbreakable. He was going and playing football like that, and so it pretty much his purpose was his power, and him getting rid of football, which was technically a catalyst of that, getting rid of that, he had no purpose. So then when coming back into the movie, he finds his purpose again, which was his power in the first place.
Yeah. So more of that particular lesson is don't give up your dreams and what you like to do for anybody. Just do it because you want to do it, and then make a career or go after your goals and make something out of it, make something big, because you only get one life and one chance. Another scene which I really like is that David Dunn is weightlifting, he's benching, and he doesn't really realize that he could do more weight than he can. What he does is that he keeps adding more weight, and his son is there, and his son is like, oh, you could do more, and he's like, oh, maybe I can. And he keep adding more weight, and eventually he realized that he could lift a lot more than he thought he could. That's another life lesson. We can always do a little bit more than we think we can. We can always run that extra mile, lift that extra couple pounds, go through that little extra hardship just to get to the goal that you're trying to reach. It's very possible, but you have to be able to believe that you can. Because if you don't believe, you won't do it. So David Dunn realizes in that scene that he could actually lift a lot. He's actually very, very strong. And his son, who looks up to him, also believes in him.
Yeah, because once you have a purpose and you go through life fulfilling that purpose, there will be people around you that will see you as an inspiration to them, especially kids, especially younger people. Like his son, he looked up to him because that he was his dad, but that was only really it. He didn't really see him as much of that after that. But once he started fulfilling his purpose and everything, that's when it really was showing that he became an inspiration, and the whole that he had his son got into that fight in school and everything, and because he was inspired by his dad.
Yeah, and another thing is even though David Dunn lost his purpose in football, he eventually, even though this is obviously a fictional story, but he ends up becoming basically a superhero by the end, because even though he cannot play football, he realizes that now he can do something. Now that he's realizing his full potential, and he's realizing he has his own powers, and he doesn't get sick, he's super strong, he doesn't really get hurt. So now he uses it to do what he's meant to do, which is sort of help people, which he does.
Yeah. So
he ends up rescuing these couple kids from this kidnapper, and he ends up beating up the kidnapper to a wall and saving the kids. And then in the famous scene where the score is playing, and basically he falls into the pool because his weakness is water. So he ends up falling into a pool, and he has trouble getting out, but he eventually does, thanks to the kids helping him out, you know. And he eventually realizes that he really is a superhero. As he looks up, he actually realizes that this is his full potential. This is what he could do, and he's actually a lot more than he thought. He discovered his purpose, and he finally realized what he can do. It's very important to realize, by doing different things in life, you can realize your full potential and what you're really meant to do, and what truly makes you happy and fulfills you in a way that nothing else can. But by the end of the movie, his wife kind of respects him a little bit more, because he's on his grind, he's on his path. And that actually happens a lot. When you're really focused on your life and what you're doing, and you're really on the grind, you'll notice that people around you can feel that energy, and they'll respond really positively to your new force of grind, and they're really
Your sense of purpose.
yeah. They can sense that you're on the groove. You know, they can sense by your attitude, the way you're walking and talking and looking. They can sense that you're really focusing on your purpose, and it makes you into a better person altogether, and it will affect your people around you in a good way. And by the end, David Dunn is finally becoming the man he's supposed to be. He's carrying his wife up the stairs to probably smash, who knows? But
Let's just hope.
yeah, but it really works out for him at the end,
Yeah.
you know, because he really finds who he is, and that's what we all need to do. We need to look for what really makes us happy and what we're really meant to do as a person. And it's very important that if we don't know our purpose, we need to go find it. We need to go do things in life that sort of brings out the best in us and makes us into a lot stronger of a person. So that is a quick analysis and some lessons from the movie Unbreakable. So if you guys like this kind of content, hit the like button, and also leave a comment below for the algorithm. Let us know some thoughts of the movie, if you liked it or not. And with that said, we will see you guys in the next video. Keep tuning in.